Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat?
We're really excited as offense, but it comes out with a great challenge. This is a defense that, really well-coached team, skilled players, talent everywhere, and so it's a tough task. But for us as an offense, we've been working really hard, and so of course we're excited to go out there and play live games and put the first one out there. Hopefully get a win, and then just keep building on it.
Derek Carr, offense getting set for the opener. The injury report coming out here on Thursday, and there's a new name on it, and it's not great news. A.T. Perry added to the injury report with a hand injury. He did not participate. So A.T. Perry was not listed on the injury report Wednesday. Today, Thursday, a non-participant with that hand injury. I'll give some thoughts on A.T. Perry here in a second. Just very quickly, we'll run through the rest of the injury report. The only change is Marshawn Lattimore was upgraded from limited to full. So Pete Werner, Willie Gay, Werner full, Willie Gay limited both days, Nick Saldiveri limited, and then Jalen Ford, Dallin Holker, DeMarco Jackson, Colin Saunders all, again, did not participate. But again, the new name on the injury report, A.T. Perry did not participate, and then Lattimore upgraded to full participant. So I'll talk about Lattimore here in just a quick second, but obviously, the A.T. Perry news is concerning because when we look at this Saints offense, there were really two. Look, every level of the Saints offense has had question marks. I and a lot of you have question marks about Derek Carr and what his ceiling might be. The biggest question on the entire roster is the offensive line. You've had injuries at tight end, where you've got Juwan Johnson back now, but Dallin Holker is on the injury report, did not participate the last 2 days. There's questions everywhere. But one of the biggest questions on the team, in my opinion, outside of offensive line, is receiver depth. You got two good ones that you know. Chris Olave is the 1,000-yard receiver, and I really do believe that this year, Rashid Shaheed is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't think it's a bold prediction. I think the Saints are probably going to be trailing. They're probably going to have to throw the ball a lot. He had 46 catches last year for over 700 yards. I think it is certainly plausible to think that he goes over 1,000 yards this year. Your first two guys are good. The real concern and question is whatever else might be there next, which isn't very long and distinguished. Is A.T. Perry ready to step up? Can Cedric Wilson drink from the fountain of youth? After bouncing around the past couple of seasons, Dallas, Miami, is Bub Means a guy that could actually emerge as a rookie? You get my point. There's just nothing there that's settled after your first two. A.T. Perry's the guy who, a year ago, late in the season, gave you some good reps. Remember, there were a few Jameis moments with A.T. Perry a year ago that were pretty encouraging. But all that to say, the fact that A.T. Perry now is on the injury report Thursday before a Sunday game and did not participate, and it's his hand. As a wide receiver, that's significant. So we don't know the severity of the injury, but it was enough to keep him out of practice on Thursday. And if A.T. Perry can't go, then, if A.T. Perry can't go, then I think that the challenge becomes even more sincere for Clint Kubiak, because I think what we're going to see is a reliance not so much on the wide receivers as it will be a reliance on the pass catchers. Alvin Kamara, while the last 3 years we have seen him decline as a runner, last year Alvin Kamara had a resurgence as a pass catcher. So obviously we know Juwan Johnson is a guy who can be effective in the pass catching game. And with the way that Clint Kubiak used his tight end in San Francisco with Kittle, and prior to that with Rudolph in Minnesota, there are reasons to believe that you can get something out of the tight end position, more out of the tight end position than you did a year ago. So I'm not trying to cause a stir or anything. I don't want to overreact to A.T. Perry not being there, but there's a very real thought to say that A.T. Perry could be your your number 3 receiver on this team. And if he's not available, then it just drives an even bigger question at what is already a big position of need. So we'll keep an eye on that. The great news there is that Marshawn Lattimore is activated, because one of the things that probably has been a bit overlooked is the strengths on defense. While they were very bad against the run a year ago, and I'm not super optimistic with Colin Saunders' injury, I think Brian Brzee is ready for a sophomore bump. I think you were very good at linebacker. I'm not as concerned at safety as some may be, because I think last year Jonathan Abram and Jordan Howden proved more than capable in replacing Marcus May. And while Abrams on the practice squad, Howden is probably going to start there opposite Tyrann Mathieu. And then I think you legitimately have one of the best cornerback rooms in the NFL. Healthy Marshawn Lattimore, healthy Paulson Adebo, Alante Taylor. Now you throw into the mix Kool-Aid McKinstry when he's ready. I think you're not just capable, you're good. The Saints last year were plus 11 in the turnover margin. I mean, they were second in the NFL only to the Giants in turnover margin. So I'm actually I'm optimistic about the defense. I think for all the questions about Chase Young, Willie Gay, I think what those two guys have proven is when healthy and motivated, they're really good players. I mean, Chase Young's played 4 seasons. He was injured for 2 of them. In the 2 seasons he was healthy, he was great. I mean, he was literally the defensive rookie of the year. So you get a healthy, motivated Chase Young, I think you got a really elite player. And the same thing for Willie Gay. And I love the fact that both are on 1-year prove-it deals. They're incentivized to go be awesome this year. So you may not have a long tail with them, but this year they should be good. So I'm good. I'm really good with the Saints defense. I think they're going to be fine, especially in this matchup against Carolina. All of our questions center around the New Orleans Saints offense with a new scheme and a quarterback that I and I think many of you don't necessarily believe in. Cam Jordan met with the media and was asked about this Carolina defense they're going to face. Of course, Dave Canales, who the Saints have a lot of familiarity with. Remember, Dave Canales was the OC in Tampa last year, and he's had these resurgence projects the last 2 years with Geno Smith up in Seattle, and then last year at Tampa with Baker Mayfield, and now is the head coach in Carolina. So the Saints have at least game planned for, and they did a couple of times, Dave Canales' offense in Tampa, and Cam Jordan kind of talked about facing a new offense in Carolina.
Darn near a whole new offensive line for sure. New OC, everything's sort of different, and at the same time, it's about us. So we got to go ahead and play our calls. We have to play our techniques. We have to focus on what we know we can be successful at.
Remember, the Saints lost their first game to Tampa last year, 26-9. That game was in the Dome. And then in Week 17, they went to Tampa and throttled the Bucs. That was maybe the most impressive game. Maybe the most impressive game the Saints played all year. They beat them 23-13. So late in the season, the Saints beat Tampa, and Dave Canales' offense allowed just 13 points, and that was a road game. So they've seen this. Yes, new personnel. Carolina's turned over almost half their roster, but I like the Saints' defense and how they match up against Carolina's offense. Big question, the Saints' offense against anybody they play this year, and you might even be down A.T. Perry, who did not participate in practice on Thursday. We'll keep you up to date with that. We'll look for the injury report on Friday. As we typically say, remember, when you get the injury report on Friday, typically you want to see at least a limited participant on Friday, because then Saturday's your walkthrough and then you play on Sunday. If you're a DNP on Friday, that's a big red flag and probably an improbability that the player's going to play. So let's see if A.T. Perry can get back out there tomorrow. We'll see how severe this might be. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.